This enchant comes in 3 different levels and it can be only applied to the chest piece. Level 1 allows you to deflect some arrows but not many, and you still do take some damage, whereas the level 2 protects you from the majority of them. Level 3 literally protects you from nearly every single one. As you can see, I'm not taking any damage at all right here. The only downside of this though is the durability of the chest piece will suffer quite measurably when you use this, so even if you have like a high tier of armor, it will get wasted away pretty quickly depending which level you use. This is a coal-powered drill, and I personally like this one because it can cut through a few different types of terrain. First of all, you can use it to cut through all the stone blocks, so if you're inside a cave, you can carve out a really huge tunnel or cavern and use it to mine ores. But it doesn't just stop here, it's actually pretty useful for a few different purposes. As you can see, it mines really far down and you create these huge winding caverns with it. Now you can use it obviously for timber to collect wood if you use a coal powered engine, but the only downside is it only cuts the lower levels of the tree, so you're not really going to get much wood from it. My favourite part of the mod though is if you build a small set of farmland, which is usually a vertical strip, you can actually put the drill based engine at the end of it and it'll go through and just mow it all down and cut it. The only downside though is the fact that there's no storage space, so when it farms all of the crops and the seeds, they just drop on the floor and there's no storage or collection point, so it does make it quite messy, and this might cause some lag on lower machines, but it's a pretty cool multi-purpose machine. I'm not sure if this next one was made in mCreator, but it's a pretty simple little mod and it has only one purpose. Basically, you can have your own private security detail, but you'll need to bribe them by having gold bars to basically bring them onto your command. It's kind of like taming a wolf as a pet. You need to right click on gold bars with the bodyguard mob and it will basically make it protect you from mobs like zombies. It's actually pretty funny because he'll basically just yeet them and kick them super far out. He's kind of overpowered, but he still does actually have pretty low health, so he's not actually as strong as you'd expect. This is more fun if you're on a city map or if you're on something where you have tons of hordes of zombies, but it'll basically just function exactly like an iron golem. This one has a really generic title, but it does actually add a bunch of features. Basically, it aims to make the most of a lot of the loot items in game, and it tries to make them craftable if they currently don't have a recipe. For an example, the Elytra, fireworks, emeralds, ender pearls, and a lot more stuff which you can't actually obtain via a recipe are now craftable. Personally, I think crafting ender pearls probably shouldn't be able to be possible because it's a little bit stupid, but it's pretty cool that it allows you to obtain things a little bit easier. I had a lot of fun flying around with the fireworks in the Elytra, especially because I haven't actually got one legitimate in survival mode before. This is kind of one of those mods which you'd probably best just use when you've reached endgame, because it makes things a little bit too easy to obtain some of the higher end items. This one's a little bit of a weird one because you're using fully organic items to convert them into experience bottles. Basically it adds a brand new machine which you can craft, and you can get a lot of XP in the early to mid game period. You can also use hoppers to make it fully automated. This is actually extremely balanced because it only grants a fair amount of XP and it doesn't require any fuel or power from any other mods to run. For me, the whole zombie villager cure system is a little bit irritating, and you have to wait ages to cure them after throwing a splash potion of weakness and feeding them a golden apple. There's not really much to say about this particular mod other than it just completely removing the timer on the previously clunky mechanic. It makes them instantly curable, providing that you did the right required steps beforehand. This Forge mod aims to basically mirror the whole Terraria feeling to build upon the current vanilla progression system to make it a little bit more interesting. There's tons of items and a few different methods to spawn the new bosses via some new blocks and summoning items. There's also a whole host of new armor sets and a lot of options of tool tiers that you can get in here too. It's not really just a boss mod, it just contains tons of features, and it even has some fresh new biomes with unique music tracks. All of the bosses have really nice looking textures and models, and my personal favourite one is the Parasite boss, which has multiple tentacles, which is extremely hard to defeat. This device basically functions exactly like a metal detector does in real life. It lets you cut corners when you're mining, and it introduces a brand new detector which searches and finds any ore which you're seeking. You can shift right click on it to cycle between the ones that you want to locate, and then when you right click on the ground it should locate it if it's nearby in a specific radius and show you the coordinates that you need to go to find it. This one is just a generalized huge enhancement. As you can see, it adds some really nice biomes which are really vibrant and colourful, and they're quite diverse and different to one another. Now it's not just biomes that it adds, it does add a huge amount of blocks and different wood types, and brand new mobs like moo blooms, kiwis, and also a mythical monster called Moa, which you have to feed a special food to transform it into a butterfly. It's basically like a Loch Ness monster dinosaur creature. There's new whales, you can feed the kiwis and let them lay eggs. And there's a lot more that deserves a lot more credit in this mod. It's not really a specific type of mod because it just adds so much content that it's kind of hard to describe in such a short time frame. I got inspired to check this out because Sea of Thieves had a Pirates of the Caribbean update recently. Basically this just adds 3 brand new pirate hats to the game of a few different types, 1 classical pirate hat, 1 British privateer style hat and an eye patch. It's basically just a cosmetic mod with some nice 3D models, and it adds some pretty fun little trinkets to mess around with.